Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. Let's talk. Today we will be talking about what to know, what to have done before the baby arrives. I'm just gonna basically give you some tips. Tip number one is to save as much PTO time as you can while you're pregnant. So when you go out for labor and having a baby, so once you go out and you have your baby, you have more time to spend with your newborn. So what I did was I saved as much as I could, and when it was time for when it was close to my due date, I took a week off just to finish everything I needed to do. And then after I had my daughter, I had the 6 weeks off because I had her natural. They gave me 6 weeks off on disability, and then I did 2 weeks of vacation time. So I had basically 9 weeks off, which I'm happy I did because I did not even use my FMLA and my paid leave, and we'll get to that a little later on in the video. Tip number 2 is to talk to your HR and see what papers you need to fill out and what papers your doctors need to fill out. So when you're out on maternity leave, you will receive disability and you will have all your FMLA and your paid leave paperwork filled out, and you don't have to worry about that. Once you have those things figured out and done out the way, that's less work that you have to do. Unfortunately, I waited to the last minute and I filled out my disability paper after I had my daughter, and I had to get back paid. So tip number 2 is to know how you're going to use your FMLA and your paid leave. I would recommend any new mom not to use your time all at once. You get 6 weeks or 8 weeks with disability, depending on how you gave birth, and use that time. Maybe you can use your vacation time too. I would recommend not to use your paid leave and your FMLA all at once, because what if your child has an appointment later on? What if your child gets sick? You know, that's how you can use your FMLA. So I would recommend using it later on, but just know how you're going to use it and save some time in case your child gets sick. You can just use your FMLA. So FMLA and paid leave are two different things with the same results. Both of them are bonding time with your newborn. With FMLA, which is Family and Medical Leave Act, you do not get paid for that, and you get 12 weeks of FMLA. How you want to use it is up to you. If you want to use it back to back, you can do that, but I wouldn't recommend that. Paid leave is exactly that. You get paid, and you have 6, maybe 8, maybe 10 weeks or 8 weeks, depending on the state you live in. So I also look into that, and you get paid for it. My daughter, she was born in November. I live upstate, so I use my disability and some vacation time to spend time with her. And when I did not use any of my FMLA yet or my paid leave, I am waiting until the weather gets a little nicer so we can do more things. Right now it's cold out, and I do not want to take her out in the cold. So in the spring and summertime is when I choose to use my FMLA and my paid leave. With FMLA, you get 12 weeks. You can use the 12 weeks how you want to. If you want to use them consecutive, you can do that. If you want to use it every other week, you can do that. I choose to use it because, like I said, you do not get paid for FMLA. I still want to receive a check, so I'm using my FMLA with days. You know, I'm not taking weeks off, I'm just taking days off. So I work Monday through Friday, so I choose to take off Monday and Fridays. So I will only work 3 days a week, and the rest of those times I will just be at home spending time with my baby, and I will still receive a check. Now the paid leave act, you get paid for it, and in New York State you get up to $700 depending on your income. So also look into that and know how much you're getting so you can plan on your bills, because at the end of the day your bills still have to get paid. Tip number 3, fill out any paperwork that you have to fill out, such as the birth certificate and registration forms, before that your baby arrives. You want to make sure that's one less paperwork you have to fill out, and you want to make sure it is done. You never know what type of situation you're gonna have when it comes to delivering. So if you can have a smooth sailing and get stuff out the way before the baby comes, do it. And one thing is to have the birth certificate signed and filled out, the paperwork filled out and signed. That's one less person that you have to see in the delivery room. You also want to have your registration forms filled out so it's easy for you to just sign in and have your baby. Unfortunately, I had to learn the hard way. I did not have my registration filled out, so I had a secretary. I don't know if she was just tired, did not want to be there, but she was moving slow, and she ended up getting cursed out because she was moving slow. So yeah, make sure you don't run into the situation I ran into. Make sure you have your paperwork filled out. Tip number 4, I would recommend that you have your baby shower anywhere between 30 weeks and 34 weeks. You can have your baby shower whenever you want to have your baby shower. I just say recommend to have your baby shower between 30 and 34 weeks, because that still gives you enough time to do whatever that needs to be done before the baby arrives, such as wash the clothes, organize the clothes, organize the nursery. You can see what you got from the baby shower, and whatever you did not get that you want, you still have time to go out and get it. Tip number 5 is to know how to work your car seat and to install your car seat. First, you want to install your car seat. Get your car seat installed. I went to the fire department to have my car seat installed correctly. I tried, but it was too loose, so I knew something was wrong. So I went to the fire department and they corrected the car seat and made sure it was in there correctly. I actually had it installed, the same car seat installed twice. First I had it behind the passenger seat, and I did not like it. I was told it was unsafe, because what if the car get into a car accident, God forbid, but what if the car gets into an accident on that side? Okay, so I got it moved to the middle of this. You can call your nearest fire station and see if they have someone that can install your car seat. I would recommend to call, because certain fire departments do it once a month, some do it once a week, some do it every day, just by phone, just by appointments. So I recommend that you go, and they do it for free, so it's better just to do it that way. That way it's free and you know your car seat is installed correctly. Also, know how to use your car seat. Know how to put the car seat in and take it out. Also know how to work your stroller. Tip number 6 is to find your pediatrician for your newborn. For me, I knew what I wanted in a doctor, period. I wanted a female doctor. I wanted her doctor office to be, I wanted the hours to be from open past 4 o'clock. Just in case something happens while I'm at work, I can get off work and still go and take her to see her doctor. So when it comes to finding a doctor, a pediatrician for my daughter, I knew for a fact I wanted a female doctor. I knew I wanted something close by, and I wanted their office hours to be past 5 o'clock. You know, that was important to me. So I did, for the most part, find what I was looking for. I found a female doctor. Her hours were from 8 in the morning to 8 at night, which is fantastic. They accepted my insurance, which is also fantastic. The only downfall, I would say, the only negative about it is that it is 25 minutes away. One thing I did like about the doctor's office was I got to meet the doctor beforehand, and asked her questions, and she asked me questions about my health. So I would recommend that you find a doctor, a pediatrician, and ask them to meet. See if you guys can set up an appointment to meet, and you can ask them whatever questions you want to ask, because at the end of the day, they work for you. You don't work for them. I also let that doctor know what hospital, if anything was to happen to my daughter and she needed to go to the hospital, what hospital I would rather have her go to. Tip number 7 is to have a birth plan. It's optional. I did not have a birth plan, and that's only because I felt like birth plans don't go as planned, and I did not know what to expect too. So I didn't want to have a birth plan, and I did not know what to expect, because this was my first baby and my first pregnancy. So I would recommend, it's like I said, it's optional. For my second pregnancy, I will have a birth plan, because now I know what to expect and I know what I want and what I don't want. Tip number 8, while you're pregnant, I would recommend you see a dentist, because pregnant women are more prone to get plaque and gingivitis. So just to get a thorough clean during your pregnancy is really good. And tip number 9, hospital bag packed by 35 weeks, and just have it sitting by the door. I would not recommend to have it sitting in the car, because you might not take that car, or your car might be gone at the time and you have to take another car to the hospital. So leave it by the door and have it packed by 35 weeks. So I would recommend, tip number 10 is just to stash money in your car. I would say anywhere from $30 to $50 to get you to the hospital. You never know when the baby's coming, so the baby might come a week or 2 early and you might not have gas in your car. So you can stop at the gas station, get some gas, and go to the hospital. Or you might have enough money, enough gas to get to the hospital, but not enough to get back. So you can just go in your glove department and get the stash and fill up your tank. Tip number 11. Now, tip number 11 is 3 things together, and it is to get a calendar, to have a cordless charger, and to get your breast pump. Now, I would say to get a calendar only because now you have a newborn and you have to keep track of your appointments, the newborn appointments, and maybe your significant other. I would recommend you get your breast pump before the baby comes, so you can know how to use it. If you have any questions, you can look up on YouTube. I would recommend that you get your breast pump before the baby comes and you know how to use it. Sometimes the horns that come with the breast pump might be too small, so you might have to get a different size horn. So you can order those on Amazon, and I will put the link below for the ones that I got, because I had to order some more horns. So know how to work your breast pump, and if your insurance doesn't cover it at the moment, you still have time to figure out why your insurance is not covering it. You can call your insurance and have stuff figured out and ready before the baby comes. So I would recommend a cordless charger only because when you're in the hospital, the plug might not be as close to you and you have to get out of bed to get your phone. With a cordless charger, you don't have to do all that. The phone is right in your bed with you. So these were my tips on what you needed to know or do before your baby arrived. I hope it helped you. Please subscribe and like. If you have any questions, leave a comment below, or you can go to my Instagram and hit me with a message. Thank you and have a nice day.